Okay, the final panel discussion that we will have for today is about the online video business models. We will be focusing on the monetization of online videos, such as YouTube and Vine and whatnot, but the panel will be digging deeper into other areas. And the panel for the moderator for the panel today is none other than Fawzi Rahal, who is the founder and chief executive officer of Gamut, or Gamut Digital Consultancy. And here he is. Give him a hand, please.
Hi, everyone. We have an hour. We have 5 people on our panel. I know on the agenda it says Alexander McNabb. He couldn't make it to moderate. We also have an additional member who's Bashir from Kharabish, who's also going to be joining us. I'm going to call up my panelists and then get this discussion going. We have a full hour and a lot to talk about in terms of monetization. Can I please ask, in no specific order, Abe Naga, head of digital from MBC Group. Amira Rashad, head of audience and media network for Middle East, Africa, and Turkey at Yahoo. Replacement from Carlos Salim Tibi, who couldn't make it. Also, we have Noman Arshad, who's the chief strategy officer from IC Flix. We also have Rudolf Jaber, CEO of Online Lifestyle Network and Too Pure. And Bashir Omran, head of business development at Kharabish. Hi, everyone. We had an extremely constructive conversation that we're going to try to give you a summary of, because our conversation even went for more than an hour, so we're going to try to keep some time for the audience and the questions. We're here to talk about online video. It's no rocket science to figure out that it's the biggest thing today. The new media revolution is all about online video. Everyone from brands to media agencies to advertising agencies are trying to be able to own that space and are trying to create content that makes sense. We have a huge variety of different types of businesses here, from a TV network to a multi-channel network. We have 2 of those. We have, of course, Yahoo, who is an online entity and channel that has a lot more than just video. And we also have IC Flix, which is a subscription-based model, very similar to Netflix, with a bit of a change of application for this region. I'm going to start my questions and quickly ask each one of you, what is your current business model? Let's start with something as simple as that.
Okay, first,
Closer, please. Thank you.
Yeah. I represent OLN TV, which is a new site that we launched in November, a complete MCN. It's a multi-channel network. It's a video on demand. We're producing 3 to 9 minutes type of videos.
Okay.
We have 20 channels under the main channel. What we're doing, it's for men and women, so okay. We have a really variety of content. What we did, this is the 5th addition to our network. We used to have Nawa'im, Ra'id, Ghair, and Shabab.
Yes.
And OLN TV came after the data mining that we did on the site, and we see a lot of consumption of videos. So what we did is we aggregated all content on the one platform, which is OLN TV.
Okay. And how do you make your money?
We partner up with DMS,
Yes.
Group, which are our media partner. Our main monetization is definitely ads, pre-rolls, but as well, since we're producing all the content, and we produce around 2,200 videos so far, we do have a branded content unit, which we're working hand in hand with DMS to offer brands to leverage the network, not just by pre-rolls, but as well by creating content for them.
Okay. Abe, NBC.
Okay. So
I know it should be self-explanatory, you're a TV network, but I'd really like to explain to us, how do you make your money?
okay, so with regard to video, we have.
Could you please come closer to the mic? Thank you.
With regards to video, we basically operated a number of different services that deal with video. We have Shahid.net, which is a VOD service, mainly catch-up. So our core business model is based on advertising. It's
Yes.
advertising based. It's mainly aggregating content and catch-up for our own channels. So this is one of the main models that we work with. Another area that we work on video is we do a lot of branded content and transmedia content from TV to online. And this is also mainly advertising driven, but it's more branded content, working with advertisers to create content for them. And the third area, which is mainly based on subscription, which is mobile content, VAS content. We do a lot of VAS content. We work with telecom operators. Value-added service, yeah. We work with telecom operators, create content and distribute it with telecom operators and launch services with them that are paid.
Okay. Amira, Yahoo, how do you make your money?
Advertising.
Simple, yes? Purely advertising, no branded content?
that's advertising.
But specifically branded content and pre-rolls or any other type?
Oh, you're talking about the formats
Yes.
of advertising? Oh, absolutely. So branded content, pre-rolls, slates, product placement. I mean, it's advertising.
Okay. I'm going to skip you for a second and jump over to Bashir to see, also to learn a little bit about what are the channels that you guys have and how do you make your money?
Well, basically we're a multi-channel network.
Yes, so you're mostly on YouTube?
The highest rank for YouTube partnership globally. And we produce content, co-produce content, or get the rights for a certain type of content and publish it online. How we make money, sponsorship, advertisement on Google, through YouTube, product placements, and branded content among other services we provide, in addition to value-added services with telecom operator as NBC does.
Okay. No man, IC
Yes.
Flicks.
Yes, IC Flicks.
How do you guys make your money?
Well, we kept it very simple, very convenient. It's today's subscription video on demand for a flat fee, monthly fee, and we'll also have transactional video on demand. Those are the two real areas. So currently we're doing everything by just subscription video on demand. Monthly, all you can watch, low affordable price, available for the masses, and everyone has access to the internet. Keep it very simple.
Okay. So, I mean, just to quickly sum up what it is, and I think you guys have figured out, it's display, branded content, and one of them has a subscription model, but that's really mostly what it is. Now, what we're going to be discussing here is, of course, not just how they make their money, but what is the best way to make that, and why did they get to this? So, I'm going to start with, Rudolph, and I want to ask you, why did you consolidate?
Like I mentioned, today if we looked at the consumption of videos that we have.
Yes.
Why would you need to have everything in one place? Because this is more a feature for users. If you're going strictly on a video platform, you're definitely gonna not just watch, for example, a business video. You wanna watch a variety of videos. That's why we worked on consolidating everything in one platform.
Would you ever go onto YouTube?
No, what we're trying to do is, most of the content that we're creating is a premium content.
Okay.
And what we're trying to do is to give more a platform for brands and for users, which is a safe environment where you as an advertiser, you can control if I might say, the theme of where the video or your video is being played. And also as a user, you're really in a safe place where you know what to expect in terms of identity and branding.
Okay. And in terms of the way you generate money, if somebody came to you and approached you as a content producer,
Absolutely.
would you produce their content?
As a content producer,
Yes.
we produce for them.
Yes.
Definitely, we're a company that produce content, so
Okay.
we can definitely produce, for example, for NBC or any other partner or any other player in the region. We've been producing for ourselves. We produced in the beginning to other players in the market as well.
Okay. I'm going to quickly jump to Abe and ask him another kind of question. Today, you guys have Shahid.
Yeah.
And most of your videos, in fact, all of the online videos of NBC Group are on Shahid.net. Do you guys also look at trying to expand your reach into other channels, even in terms of other technology? Why is it that Shahid.net has not gone anywhere else outside of Shahid.net, and is that an advantage for you guys? I mean, to first create a network and try to drive all the traffic to it must have been pretty challenging.
Originally, when we started Shahid, it was primarily a catch-up service for NBC.net.
Okay.
And we saw, for NBC Group as a network. And we saw the potential in creating and going beyond that. And today, Shahid is beyond NBC as a network. Today, we started aggregating content from other channels. So today, you will find other channels that are not NBC on the bouquet of channels that we have. We also aggregate.
Are you trying to aim to become a Hulu, per se?
Yeah, you could look at, I mean, Hulu is definitely one of the models that we looked into. It's basically, we want to be a single destination for premium video content.
Okay.
So whether it's through other TV channels, so whether aggregating channels from TV networks, whether it's going to the production companies getting their content, the market here is very different from the US. So in the US, the networks own their content. Here, it's a very different model. You have a lot of independent producers creating content. So you don't have to necessarily abide by the same model that Hulu abides by. It's very different here. So we are working with different production companies. We are getting content that is not necessarily on NBC.
Okay.
We have channels other channels that produce their content, and we have to brand their channels. But we are way beyond NBC as a network today.
Okay. And in terms of branded content, would you also syndicate or curate other content that happens to be branded and not produced by you, for example?
That is something we do. When it comes to branded content, we deal with it differently with every single product. So NBC.net, for example, we deal with branded content because of the legacy of our traditional media. So branded content is not something new to TV.
Yes.
We've always had branded segments and programming, and that is something that's how we started. We started doing transmedia branded content, things that travel from TV to online. We then started doing things that are purely online for around our existing IPs, our programs, our celebrities. Now we're looking into working with brand author content, where there are content brands that want to create their own content. They don't want to associate it to an existing product or existing show, and they want to create their own shows, and they want it to be distributed. So that is a new kind of branded content that is actually happening in the market, and that is something that we are also working with brands in.
So are brands coming to you to create an entire show, or is it just a couple of episodes? Or, I mean, what is the format of this?
There's different. There are brands that will come to us and say, create a show for us, or create a segment with your existing brands. And there are other ones that are going to say, we are creating our show. We're hiring our own production company. We're getting our own director. We're going to do something, and we want that distributed on your channels and on your network.
And what would be your involvement then?
As a media partner, distributing that content.
Would you not get involved in the actual content that's going to be used?
It depends. It depends. So if they want to leverage our production capabilities and facilities, they can. If they want to leverage our IPs, if they want to do branded content around our existing shows, that's an option. In other cases, and we've done that in the past, where brands want to create their own content. They want to get award-winning directors and they want to shoot something completely theirs, and they just want the platform to promote that content on, because creating content it's not going to reach users unless it's on
somewhere that's
yeah, exactly.
popular. Okay, I'm going to jump quickly to Amira and ask you about what kind of videos do you produce? You produce branded content videos as well, yes?
Yeah, so we have a very clear sort of segregation between editorial video that we produce for ourselves and branded content. And there's a very clear Chinese wall between those.
So unlike NBC, a brand cannot come and position something within one of your existing shows.
So here are the options. They can produce their own content, and we will very clearly position it as their own content. That solution is called Studio. And it's very clearly branded as, the X brand's Studio. Then there is content that we produce based on what we believe users want to see. It's editorially neutral, if you will, to the extent that you can be that. And then we speak with, or we have conversations with advertisers to have them be involved in one of two ways. One way is their involvement that depends on serving the actual purposes of the production. So for example, we have a show called Yahoo Stars or Yahoo Nujum. There are two shows where we talk about celebrities and so on, and part of the needs of that show is wardrobe for our presenter. So we would go talk to various entities, fashion brands, what have you, so it serves the purposes of that show. So that's one. The other is a sponsorship model, be it through outright sponsorship or product placement, where the brand wants to be associated with that theme or that story or that target audience or what have you, and then we incorporate them. But the idea and the concept and the production is done completely by us in the first place to address a user need. So these are the options that we work with.
So there's no option where somebody can come in and work with you on creating an entire script or tweaking things. It's either you do it or they do it.
No, they can work with us, but there has to be the premise. Is this a paid branded content exercise where they're producing it to support a brand? Or is this an editorial effort where a client...
Where they happen to suit whatever you're doing?
Yeah, if we're addressing the same target audience and they want to be involved, then we're happy to have that partnership. And the reason why we insist on that sort of very clear-cut approach is because at the end of the day, users are extremely smart. And when they go to you as a neutral third party, they want to know, you have to be upfront with them as to, is this advertising, is this an advertorial, or is this, editorial content?
Okay, so you clearly differentiate between both.
Yes.
What about your deal with U-Turn that happened since we last spoke in Riyadh 6
Yep.
months ago. What is the premise of this deal? Why did you choose to go out and get other content producers to and host their videos on your channels? And what is the relationship between? I mean, does this mean that U-Turn is no longer going to be on YouTube?
So this isn't a partnership that is specific, or U-Turn is, but the whole idea of
Is
working.
everybody familiar with U-Turn? Show of hands, who knows what U-Turn is? Okay, half the audience. They're a big Saudi channel that creates multiple shows. I think Amira can even introduce them better than I can.
Sure. So U-Turn is a multi-channel network that has emerged out of Saudi Arabia, and they're obviously leaders in their space. They have done comedy, but they've also done other material, and they have a huge following, and we're very proud to be partnering with them. But just going back to your point, partnering with MCNs in general is not specific to Yahoo in the Middle East.
Okay.
Yahoo has an offering called Screen, which is where we portray most of our videos. And this is a global offering where we actually partner with MCNs all over the world. And we have our own original productions. We've produced productions with Tom Hanks, Ben Stiller, Bill Maher. I mean, you name it, we've produced shows with. In the region, we're doing original productions and obviously launching them on screen, but also we're partnering with MCNs to provide an alternative distribution venue for them. It is, according to our discussions with them, definitely not replacing anything else, but expanding their distribution reach. And we're happy to do that. And, you know, because for us, it's about engaging our audience as well as reaching new audiences. And for them, it's about expanding their distribution and their monetization beyond where they're already at.
Is there any exclusive content that I can only see on the U-Turn screen, Yahoo screen section?
To date, no, but there will be.
Okay.
And then also, as part of our arrangement with them, we have an exclusivity in terms of the window of when we launch. So we launch ahead of all their other venues.
So the episodes premiere on your channel?
Exactly.
Okay,
Exactly.
within a specific bracket?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to jump to Bashir because we're just talking about multi-channel networks. And I want to ask you the opposite of what I asked Rudolph. You guys are mostly on YouTube.
Yep.
All of your channels are on YouTube, and all of your content is on YouTube. Why don't you create your own channel, like what they've done? Just consolidate all your content onto one place.
It's an approach, basically. When you create your own system or platform, you own your users.
Yeah.
You have control over them. You can email them. You can feature whatever content you want for them. When you're on YouTube, you're depending from the content you're creating. If it's good, if it's really good, it will create a buzz and it will go viral. If not, you might not reach all your audience. And again, sorry, referring on what Carlos said, YouTube is safe. If you don't, Rudolph, sorry, if you don't log in, you won't be seeing any content that is not friendly, family friendly. So we've been there for a while. We're happy with it. The only disadvantage is when it comes to monetization.
And what is the disadvantage that you're talking about?
YouTube never generates enough money for creators to sustain their business. So you can't depend from YouTube when it comes to sustaining yourself as a business. So if anyone of the audience here starts a company and decides to produce a high quality content and go on YouTube, they won't survive.
So they have to find other ways like branded content or any
branded content, selling their own sponsorship packages, having a window for broadcasting their content on other platforms such as Yahoo or any other network, creating successful brands and start on monetizing on it. For instance, we have certain shows that have created a buzz and have a huge base of followers, and we can associate them with certain sponsors for branded content or create a sub-product such as merchandise or offline events, for instance.
Are you looking at other monetization opportunities? Like, why don't you produce a show and put it on IC Flix?
Well, it's something we can explore.
I'm not offering, I'm just asking. I don't know if he's interested.
It's a great idea.
It's something we can explore, definitely. Why not?
Are you exploring, was my question.
We've been in negotiation with Yahoo for over 2 years now, and then it didn't reach we didn't reach an agreement on how to provide our content. At that time, they were looking for licensing. We have other alternatives where we will create our own apps and start monetizing through it. We might start other...
So you are willing to ditch YouTube for a better platform?
You have to explore other options, and you have to create also your platform at a certain stage. Otherwise, you will remain as a content creator. You'll never be a platform, and you'll never be an independent network that can reach its audience whenever it wants and however it wants. I mean, like, through YouTube, I can't access my subscribers. It's true I have 1 million subscribers on the channel, but I can't email them. I can't have them see all my content on their homepage. I'm depending from YouTube's code. If
But
YouTube's
isn't it
code
easy-
change, the game changed.
I mean, again,
And
I'm
it
gonna
didn't
go.
change, by the way. Sorry if you want me to
No,
mention
it's okay.
that.
I'm going to go back to, again, another conversation that I had with the guys of U-Turns and a lot of other people in Riyadh 6 months ago, where the entire outcome of the panel was content is king. If you build it, they will come. Does that stand today? Is that really the case? Or have things changed? I mean, I'm understanding that there's some challenges that you guys are facing.
You can call content is king. I don't mind that. I would be happy to hear that. But frankly, with a great content and no marketing budget or no the distribution network and no access to users,
So good
it's like having
content.
content and keeping it in your bedroom.
So who agrees with what he's saying? Good content plus no marketing equals no content? Is that what it is?
Absolutely. I think that the good content is always king.
Okay.
However, you need to find a queen, which is the platform. So today, if you have the best content, but you don't have the right platform to actually expose that content, definitely the whole investment that you did, we're gonna throw it in the,
You can call it platform and you can call it reach. If you have the reach, never mind how you do it. It could be a database of emails.
How did you get to this reach that you have today? Through marketing, or through good content, or both?
Well, initially when we started, content was king. So we had a great content and we reached everyone we wanted.
And now?
Now with the game changing, Facebook minimizing the reach, you have to pay so you reach your audience. YouTube algorithm is changing. It used to be if you have a video that generates 10,000 hits a day in a country, it will be featured on the homepage. Now it's no longer about the number of views. Now it's all about the watch time. So the game is changing.
So the duration of the video itself.
No. If you have, let's say, a video of 5 minutes duration, and you got 1,000 people to watch it, and the average watch time per user is 10 seconds, for instance, even though the content could be really great and everyone likes it, it won't go viral.
Okay.
If you have a 5 minutes content that is being watched by 1,000, and on average the view time per user is exceeding 3 minutes, or 4 minutes, or around 70%, your chances to be featured on the homepage are really higher.
Okay. Amira, do you guys have any similar algorithms in featuring videos, or is it all editorial?
We do. It's both.
It's both.
Absolutely, it's both. I just wanted to sort of follow on from what he just said. I think, obviously, we would not be sitting here if there wasn't this, democratization of content creation that is resulting in, I think a huge opportunity for content creators. But the flip side of that is that the internet also brings about fragmentation of audiences, right? So a lot more smart, creative people are putting content out there, but there has to be the platforms to amplify them. And it's still a scale game.
Okay.
If you look at the options you have as a content creator today for distribution, they are still, a handful.
Limited.
Right? If you're serious.
So let's discuss them. Let's assume I'm a production house today, and I produce content for advertising agencies, for anyone who comes to me and says, I need a video. What do I need to do to survive in this? If I just, is it still sustainable to have a production house that doesn't make money out of, monetizing its content online? Or because we're seeing all this merging. I mean, you have an online portal. Both of you guys started as an online portal. You have a TV network. You have a production house, and you have a subscription-based model, and they're all converging into one. I mean, he's looking at subscription models. They're open to other opportunities. Is it all going to become one? Are you guys emerging or merging towards one unified entity that does all of this at the same time?
I don't think so.
So we're not looking at subscription models.
You're not looking at subscription
No,
models?
we are firm believers in, reach, and the fact that reach begets a very solid audience base that you can monetize, through other means, primarily advertising. And the point here is that you cannot make money out of content online unless you have the scale. that is required by advertisers, right? I mean, it's not online only. I mean, you can't make money on TV unless in any medium, right? It's just that a lot of people have been able to reach that scale through, the YouTubes of the world quicker than they thought they would. And because of the business model, maybe they're not getting the financial rewards of that.
Is it because brands aren't paying that much?
They are or aren't?
Are not paying a lot? What is the challenge with this? Why is it that it's cheap?
It's exactly what I talked about. If I was sitting in the shoes of an advertiser, I am trying to get a certain reach and a certain impact, and I'm faced with fragmented audiences. And I need to be able to marry the right content with the right platform in order to reach my audiences in an effective way. And when I do, bingo, I've done it. So it's more of a challenge online if you're a digital marketing manager or what have you to get that right. Okay. Some are trying on their own to develop their own content and putting it through social media and what have you, with varying degrees of success, obviously, depending on the actual content and depending on the algorithms and their ever-changing nature and so on.
Comparing the budgets of Yahoo globally, or the US, let's say, with the budgets of brands who pay Yahoo globally, with the budgets of brands that are present in the Middle East, Africa, and Turkey, which is your region. Do you see a difference in that? Or do all clients or brands pay the same amount all around the world? Is it become saturated to the point where it doesn't matter where you spend your money, you're going to get the same amount of reach?
So you get a lot more for your dollar in the Middle East. That's a fact, because media is cheaper, a lot cheaper. And therefore, the spend per capita in the Middle East is significantly lower than anywhere else in the world.
Is it because we're cheaper as people? Or why is that?
I don't know, call it legacy, call it the lack of numbers in many cases, especially in digital, where we still don't have an IAB to a neutral measuring entity who can be sort of provide the data for everybody and so on. So we're still looking at various numbers.
The internet advertising bureau, we spoke about it again also in Riyadh. Are you guys still working towards?
It's still in the works. I think, the internet advertising business in the region needs a lot of infrastructure investment, right? Be it through getting the right measurement in place, or getting the right, addressing things like payment that could support e-commerce, because that's a huge part that supports advertising online as well.
I know that clearly e-commerce and advertising go hand in hand. If brands could sell more online, clearly they would spend more on advertising it. Isn't it about time that I see Flix, Noman, how do you guys make your money? Credit cards, yes?
Simple, and other payment methods. So,
can you tell us what are the other payment methods?
Well, they're everything from vouchers to localized payments and so on and so forth. I probably won't get into too many details there, but the whole idea is to keep it very simple. It's nothing like just coming home and watching just premium, good content. And that's what we focus on, is just simplicity, no complex business models, monthly basis, start and stop as you need to, and it seems to be working, and the reach is global. So
I want to go back and ask you to be specific about those payment methods, because the whole point is to kind of get an idea of what are the monetization.
I would like also to be specific about what do you mean by premium content.
Sorry?
What premium content is not necessarily content you pay for, huh?
Yes, I'm not talking about premium content. I'm just talking about being specific.
I mean, let's get to that in a second. Question. So I think,
So credit cards,
in-store
vouchers.
It could be one, yes.
Could be one. Is it one today?
Yes, it is one today.
Okay. Operator billing?
It could be.
Okay.
I have to keep. I'm sorry, it's a high level. But there's various methods. Like you could use whatever strategic partner.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but you are saying that today there's a challenge with credit cards, and you guys are a subscription-based model. So I'm trying to figure out what you've done right.
Credit cards, because we're global, you have to look at the markets separately. Some markets are more liquid than other markets, and because of the global footprint, all your eggs are not in one basket.
So what markets in the region that you guys cover, which, I know that you guys, for example, have Arabic content that's available worldwide.
Global.
Bollywood content that's available everywhere except for in India.
Very good.
And Hollywood that's in Middle East.
You win a prize. You remember, our whole thing inside out. Very good.
It's very easy.
Okay, good.
So in which of the, let's just talk about Middle East, North Africa, which is...
What we're finding is credit cards are there. It's starting to pick up more and more, so e-commerce has come into play. It will still take some time, and that is one approach.
Can you tell us how much, I'm sorry to keep interrupting,
Yes.
but it's because it's very important for us to
Yes.
get down to the numbers. How much percentage of your subscribers use a credit card versus cash, let's say?
I don't have the figures at the top of
But
my
just
head,
like
but I
off the
think
top-
that the credit card numbers are there. There's a decent group that will actually follow through, especially when you have expats that are used to pulling out their credit card and paying online, whereas the local population may be a bit different. They may be a bit reluctant. They may be more comfortable if they go to, like, say, an Apple store, which has got a trusted brand, for example, and they'd rather put the credit card on that, for example. That's one approach.
Okay.
There are other online successful payment methods that are working, and that seems to be the way to do it.
Okay.
So I
Thank you.
realize I didn't give you all the information, but some of the things we find are competitive advantages and differentiators. So at a high level, we really believe a simple model is what works well.
Off the top of your head, do you know what market out of this region has the highest number of subscribers who use a credit card?
Right now, it's the UAE because we
UAE.
did some outdoor branding here at this point in
Least
time.
country?
Sorry?
The least number of
We had
subscribers on
people
credit card?
coming in from South America.
South America?
Yeah, so I mean,
In this region?
oh, in this region, let's see here. I don't know off the top of my head, but I wouldn't
One
be
of the
able to tell you.
countries, so we don't hold you
I
responsible
think
for it?
maybe one of the GCC countries, smaller GCC countries.
Smaller
how's that?
GCC
Yeah.
countries.
But they're all good.
Okay.
Yeah,
But they're all good.
everybody's good. Yeah, but it's working, and that's why I think that the important part that we recognize is the simplicity of it, dealing directly with consumers. You know, and if we all reach into our pocket, we'll pull up one of these. There's a screen. People are watching on the small screen to the largest screen. Everybody has this. You can't put your TV in your pocket. It's at your home, so it's there as well. So we're finding that direct to consumer, providing good content, good blend of content works, and our whole business model from the start, from the get-go, is very streamlined for enabling monetized watching of fun
Okay,
content.
I'm gonna.
Not just premium,
Do you
but all
want to say
types.
something real quick?
Yeah, I just wanted to sort of emphasize the fact that credit cards, the issue with credit cards isn't just about buying stuff online.
It's not just the trust of using your card online.
Yeah, it's there's an aspect here that's related directly to advertising, which is the performance part of the business.
Okay.
So right now, most advertisers are paying for branding, advertising that drives branding, be it on TV or online. The mix is completely different globally. Performance is a huge, huge part of it.
They want to sell, not just create
Exactly.
awareness.
So be it, the airline business or the hotel, but whatever it is, where I can link my revenue directly to the performance of my advertising campaign online, that's still not here in a big way. It's growing by leaps and bounds, but it's still not here. And once that really, gets unleashed, that will be a huge driver for the growth of, specifically of advertising, but also video within that.
Okay. Bashir,
I
you
wanted to add something actually. The technology is there when it comes to having the advertiser, giving the advertiser the opportunity to generate actual sales.
Okay.
One of the products now available in the market, call it See It, Buy It, where you basically watch a pre-roll before any video, and you can directly buy items from the pre-roll. It adds to your card and you can purchase it.
But that still requires
But that
overcoming
requires
all the
that the
challenges.
platforms actually start implementing it and offering it to advertisers. So it won't come from the content creators. It won't come from the advertisers. They want to push and insist that they implement it. It has to come from the platforms.
Okay.
If the solution exists, why not implement it?
So, can you be more specific? Who's the platforms that the solution needs to come from? The Yahoo guys out there?
It could be Yahoo. That they could. Why not buying such a solution, or Facebook, or YouTube, acquiring such a business and starting serving a higher rate ads that can generate more money for content creators and for YouTube, and increase the ad spending.
I have two topics I also want to cover, so I'm going to jump real quick onto this. There was one really quick.
But one small thing to add. Definitely, there are a lot of softwares that allow you to monetize the videos, and this is one of the software that he mentioned. But today, it's not just about how you can monetize; it's who's willing to monetize it. Like he said, there are a lot of brands that still they are coping. I'm talking in the region, coping with the pre-rolls, giving them more advanced or more complicated type of softwares. I don't think they are ready yet in the region to cope with them.
That's a bit unfair to tell them that they're not ready?
If you look at, because today, if you look at the brands that are advertising on online, and I'm talking about specifically lifestyle, for example. If you look at their website, most of them, they don't even have an Arabic website. So today, if you're targeting...
so it's on an Arabic content, they click, they go to an English website.
Many of them, yes, if you're talking about luxury.
demand.
Okay, so they're not even ready from a platform point of view to communicate to their clients, never mind take it one step forward.
Absolutely.
Okay, I want to talk about,
You create the demand.
it's still in the domain of technology. ICFlix, you guys have mobile apps. You guys are on LG TVs and on Samsung TVs. So you have a very good memory, right?
Yeah, well, that's good. We're up to 800 plus devices now.
Okay.
We're going to be over 1,000 very short.
How do you feel the behavior of consumers across all these devices? Do more people watch or use ICFlix on their TV more than on their phone? Do they stream? Is it per kind of content? What is the behavior of consumers when it comes to using all these new channels that you guys have?
That's a very good question. And we found it related because, we're still a relatively young company. We started with some very good campaigns with smart TVs, and that had quite a bit of attraction. And if you look at the statistics, people are watching on all devices, and I think the ones that seem to be quite popular are the phablet, tablet, and phones seem to be
medium-sized tablets,
available.
the small-sized tablets.
Yeah, because they're portable. You can go to a mall, you can go to a coffee shop, you watch there as well. So we're finding that the electronic devices are getting more and more powerful. They're right in the palm of your hand, and when you got 15, 20 minutes to kill, it's great. When your kids are out there, if they're acting up, you give them one of these things to watch cartoons. Seems to work.
Okay.
So we're really seeing people using all types of devices to watch content.
All right, and
It's no longer. It's not
so-
watching TV is no longer just watching it on a television screen. Watching TV could be watching TV on your phone or your tablet.
Okay, Abe, I'm switching to you because also you guys do content that's on TV and content that's online and content that's on tablets, etc. How do you see the behavior change from one device to the other?
Well, okay, so when we initially launched on tablets, the uptake for viewership on these devices wasn't as fast as we thought. When we first launched back 2 years ago, I think 20% of our consumption was on tablet.
Okay.
Nowadays, we saw a complete switch where today we have the majority of our viewership is on these devices.
Okay.
Unfortunately, we weren't on mobile devices. We're only available on tablets. We just today, or actually last week, launched on iPhone, so we haven't seen consumption
kind of
patterns
trend?
on mobile handsets, but on tablets, it is picking up and it is quite high.
Okay, Rudolph, do you have any information about consumer consumption? I mean, we were talking outside about how during the day the kind of content changes from female cooking shows to down to, let's say, business shows during the day, etc. But what about the medium that they're using it? Does that also change?
Definitely. For example, if you look at during the day, during work hours, for example, you see more of computer devices like PCs and laptops, and then at night you start to see more of the iPads. During the day as well, you can see a lot of mobile. So the 24 hours approach is always, you need to have a platform that actually moves with the user, starting from if he's from a mobile, then going to the desktop and on a tablet as well.
Okay, so it's more or less of a mix.
Absolutely.
There's no one place where I will watch one thing.
It really depends on the content.
Time of the day and the content.
And the content as well.
Okay.
And depends on the region.
Type of content itself.
Depends
as
on the
well.
countries.
So, for example, short-form content, because it travels very well on social media,
Okay.
which is widely used on mobile devices, you
Yes.
see a lot of consumption of small, bite-sized content on mobile devices.
Okay.
While long-form content, it's more of a lean-back experience. So you'd expect it to happen to be viewed more on TV sets, maybe tablets, laptops. But again, each type of content, depending on where it's being distributed, the consumption habits would differ.
Okay.
And
So
it depends also on the country, by the way.
depends on the country.
Yeah, like for instance, when it comes to our content, 40 to 50% of our traffic in GCC coming from mobile devices. When it comes to Levant, it's 20 to 30. When it comes to North Africa, it's 5 to 10.
So it's mobile penetration, basically, or more
It's
or less
partially
how fast
penetration.
it's
It's partially user behaviors depending on the country. Like when it comes to North Africa, they spend more time on their PCs rather than on their tablets or mobiles.
Okay.
When it comes to the GCC, it becomes a habit. It's becoming more of a habit.
Okay. Last question before we
Sorry,
turn to questions.
again, this is talking about digital content in a shorter
Yes,
format.
very specific.
The kind of content we produce, not the kind of content they might have.
Okay, so we were talking outside, and this is something that always surprises me, which is the fact that 10 years ago and today, consumption of television seems to have not decreased, but actually grown. And still, digital content is also growing. So what is the future of this? How is this going to change? I mean, is there always, first of all, going to be a clear line between what is TV and what isn't TV? Or are we just simply going to see that switch without knowing, and just everything's going to keep going normally without us connecting to a satellite, or opening up probably launching an ICFlix or an NBC app on our TV instead of using an OSN cable or anything else? Monetization of this, is it going to change as well?
Historically, media consumption has been growing consistently, and that's why
we're not talking organically by the growth of population.
No,
we're
not
talking
just
about per person, per hour,
exactly.
per day.
So media consumption per person has been growing over the years.
Okay.
And this is one of the reasons why we're not seeing any cannibalization in our part of the world.
Okay.
So digital isn't growing on the account of TV or vice versa, because it's all growing. The rate of acceleration of media consumption on digital platforms is growing much faster because it's starting from zero, but now it's taking a much bigger part. With time, we're going to see some migration, but it's all going to fall down back to what is TV? Is TV a TV channel, or is it any content you watch on your TV set? Is Netflix a TV channel? If you look at other markets like in the States, today catch-up on online platforms is counted as part of TV ratings. So when they calculate TV ratings
because
for a show,
they just happen to miss it.
Exactly.
So any show or content that was already aired on TV is considered TV.
It is TV, and they when they look at how it's done on catch-up on Hulu, on their websites, they take that as part of the TV ratings. So they contribute that to TV ratings. And when they say this show got 20 points, it's across all platforms. So there's going to be some. What is the definition of TV is going to shift from time to time based on new habits and new ways of the entire industry evolving.
Okay, and so how does that work with the actual content creation process? I'm gonna switch the question to Rudolf. Amazon is creating its own content. Netflix is creating its own content. And we're not talking just about some webisodes. We're talking about serious, hardcore, big productions. Would you guys be interested in doing something that's big of a production as a network of your own?
As I mentioned, we started a lot doing infotainment type of content. However, our plan for next year is to go into entertainment.
Okay.
And interactive videos. And to do that, we're gonna require a bigger budget.
Okay.
So that's why we're working closely with our media partner, which is DMS, Schwere Group, on working with their branded content unit on how we can get the brands engaged by creating content, not only a viral content that can be widely spread, but also a content that is engaging users by, for example, determining what's coming next in a certain drama series, where users can actually define what's coming in the next.
So the users can crowdsource and contribute to the happenings.
They will be part of choosing, what to produce next, and as well, and whenever you're watching a certain drama series, for example, you can decide what to do in the next episode.
Okay. Abe, do you guys also use consumer insight to create content?
We do that for TV. So we, for example, use social media to understand what people want and what they don't like about content, and we take that into our creative process for creating programming. But we don't necessarily produce a lot of content exclusively for digital. Most of the work we do is transmedia, so TV onto online. So that kind of format we haven't done yet, no.
Okay. Noman, are you good? Do you guys have plans of producing your own content?
Oh, it's in the house of cards.
It's in the house of cards. Not too specific, I guess.
Yeah, well, I think it's a natural evolution of ICFlix. So one is to stabilize and have a strong platform with good content people want to watch, and then eventually, it does make sense to look at options to make something that you could use your platform that you've built to distribute.
Okay.
So I think that Netflix is really leading the industry with what they've done, and to take a show that's been built for online and win awards for it, that's pretty impressive. That really solidified the fact that things are changing.
Okay. Audience? Questions? One question. Thank you. Hello? No? The technologies that Bashir and ICFlix?
The technologies that ICFlix or any other online media or content creation company might want to utilize to monetize that content. If there was a technology that could help.
Repeat all your question, please. We could not hear it.
Okay. There are technologies today that help video content be monetized faster.
Yes.
Because consumers see things on video and they want to make a decision to buy. But the time span they have is so short that by the time the video is over, they can't really decide or remember what they wanted to purchase. So if there are technologies today where you can actually click on people, places, things, products, where you can learn information or shop or be redirected to e-commerce websites, how far are you today from acquiring such technologies or adopting it?
Sure.
Do you want me to take that?
Go ahead.
So,
Thank you.
I think you're referring to clickable video technology, right? Okay, so this is one of the things that we've personally looked at a lot into, and I think technology alone doesn't, adoption of technology doesn't create an industry. I think the ecosystem, a technology like this has to be, you have to leverage a lot of different players within the ecosystem. So if you're going to be doing clickable products within a video and you don't have an e-commerce infrastructure to support it, it's not going to do well.
It's going to become a banner.
Yeah, it's exactly. So there's a lot of different players within this ecosystem that need to adopt such a technology and look into the benefits of using something like this, whether it's the brands, whether it's the payment providers, and in order for this technology to mean something and for it to be usable. Other than that, it's going to become, you click and you see a banner or you see an ad or you go to a click-through and you go to the website and it just becomes an interesting way of adding banners into video. And that's not what it's meant to be. It's meant to be much, much more. But unfortunately, the ecosystem, I wouldn't say the infrastructure, but the ecosystem itself isn't yet that developed.
Does that answer your question? Any other question? Wow. We can talk forever about this, but I think they have any more questions. I'm going to add on to that question and try to get to the core of this infrastructure issue. I know it's an ecosystem, and I know that once it happens, it happens. It's very similar to HD TV. People didn't buy HD TVs, you guys didn't broadcast in HD, and it was okay until suddenly people made HD TVs, people bought them, and you guys created HD content. How did that happen? What was the starting point of this, and how can we apply this, or is there an applicable example that can kickstart this e-commerce ecosystem? I know we're solving a bigger problem of a different topic here, but it's a monetization challenge that all of you seem to have.
It's a chicken or egg situation. You could apply this in any different market or any different industry. If we're talking about e-commerce specifically, or online payment, one of the reasons, there's a lot of different ideas why online payment doesn't work, or in content, for example, people would say, people don't pay for content in the Middle East. People want some things free. People haven't seen other options. They've never been presented with a lot of services and a lot of content that is only available for pay, where they would have to pay for it in order to get it. So one has to lead the other. Either you create the demand for something and then the industry is going to follow, either the industry needs to create that demand and people are going to want that product. If there aren't any SVOD services in the market, it's never going to pick up. So one has to start, somebody has to follow, and then an industry starts to bubble up and it starts to happen, and then you'll see it happening.
Okay, Amira?
It's definitely a responsibility that has to be borne by a lot of entities.
Okay.
Government, first of all. So we talk about the infrastructure. So we talked about credit cards, payments. But, and you know, that's slowly picking up, and I think there are investments by the companies within that value chain that are very promising. So that's definitely on the rise. Then once I've actually paid for something, I need to get it delivered to me. Huge problem. Mm-hmm. Huge problem. I mean, 23 countries or so in the region, borders, taxes, customs, blah, blah, blah. You know, someone needs to do something.
It doesn't look so positive as an outlook, huh?
No, but I mean, I'm just telling you what needs to be involved, because otherwise you're gonna have to be looking at a country by country basis, while the whole model of you know
needs to be scalable.
Yeah, I mean, we all speak Arabic, we all watch the same things more or less to a certain extent. There needs to be that scale, and that is a huge point that the governments of this region need to realize in order to liberate that you know, commerce animal, if you will.
Does this mean that until this happens, the situation will remain as it is
No,
today.
it is growing by leaps and bounds today, but off of a small base. I'm not done yet with the. So there's payment, there is actual logistics and distribution. There is also content. So today we have a huge content gap in the region. If I'm going to be advertising using content or what have you, that needs to grow again by orders of magnitude in order for advertising to actually find the venue or the content or what have you to monetize. And I think a very big part of being able to kickstart that process is having the people that would actually build those businesses and the know-how and the technology and so on, which is still in very scarce, in a very scarce mode. If I had a startup today in any field, I'm going to have a problem getting the right people. And then funding, right? So, I mean, how...
I think you've summarized the entire conference problems.
Man, I wish we had someone from Google here. At least they don't complain.
Why would that be?
Frankly, I'm from a younger generation. I believe if you want to do it, you can do it. If you build a proper system, if you have a proper backup technology, if you push the system online, you will create the demand and you will do it. It's a matter of time, and that's how we can change things. Sitting and waiting, giving excuses will never get us anywhere.
I agree with him on that.
Frankly, that's my opinion. I'm saying it like loud.
No, it's
it is true. There are people that are doing things.
Yeah.
So
And e-commerce. Sorry, go ahead.
today, you look at different products. There are e-commerce services in the market. So
Yes.
they do exist. They
Yes.
were able to overcome existing challenges. It's just a matter of there needs to be a lot more of these people that are gonna jumpstart this entire industry. And there are other industries that are not very dependent on a lot of these. Like, for example, you're talking about online video. Logistics isn't a big deal. Delivery over the internet is very simple. So the different players within that.
You still have infrastructural issues in some countries, but it's a lot easier than borders.
Yeah, and there are ways around it. You could download and watch later. So there are ways to overcome these different differences between the markets. But the different players within that ecosystem, the value chain, isn't that broad. You've got the telecom operators, the payment providers, the credit card companies. Not necessarily credit card. You have prepaid card operators. There's a lot of different people within the ecosystem that need to work together. Some of them need to make compromises. Like, for example, telecom operators. They need to figure out that they need to change the way they do things. They cannot ask for these ridiculous revenue shares that they want because it's not making the business move forward. It's all these different players.
How ridiculous are these requests? From to, let's say. What were they 3 years ago?
50-50?
50-50. Are they getting better?
In some markets.
70-30?
That's the best I've heard so far.
That's the best.
And not from a lot of telecom operators.
Okay.
So actually, I have a comment back to that point. So passion is great, right? You can't do anything without passion.
Yes.
Or a vision. But if you're going to do something, you need to plan. And if you're going to plan, you need to know where to put your resources. And if you can't identify the issues that you have, you don't know what to work on, right?
I'm not arguing.
So you need to approach this with a little bit more than just good faith, right? Which is why digital spending in this part of the world is still 5% of overall advertising, while it's 17-18% everywhere else in the world. And so we need to break down problems and understand exactly how they're solved. Have the passion, have the gusto, have the vision, but know what we're talking about.
Okay.
Right?
We're not reinventing the wheel. The wheel is there. The digital is there. And it's been there for years now. We're saying it's time to start implementing things. It's time to get things rolling.
But you are facing challenges. Are you denying that you're facing challenges? Are you denying that YouTube favors advertisers and consumers over...
Did I say I'm in a heaven?
I'm not saying that, but I'm
not saying that either.
No, but we need to, I mean, the objective of this panel...
Problems are always there, but do you see me complaining?
But the objective of this panel is to identify the challenges. We're trying to figure out what your challenge is.
The main challenge is pushing forward the industry so we can make more money, basically. If we remain with the basic advertising model that provide a standard pre-roll and a banner, we'll never move forward. If we start providing a high experience that gets users to interact with the product, to learn more about it, to purchase through different techniques. I'm speaking out of my mind, basically. But what I'm trying to say is like it's time to push the industry forward. And to do that, we need to invest in technology. And that should be done by platforms.
If you turned off pre-roll videos on your channels, would you be able to sustain yourself?
If we're talking YouTube, pre-roll is not what's sustaining us anyway.
So why do you have it? If you want to break out of the standard pre-rolls and videos, why don't you take a step
when
and say...
When it comes to revenues, you need to maximize your streams. You don't have a choice, even if it brings peanuts.
With them. Even with.
Yeah.
I think today the main challenge is today, if to answer him, yes, before you just had YouTube, where actually the only platform where you can monetize your videos. Today, if you look at only this panel, you have different platforms where actually you have Shahid, you have
Yahoo,
MTV,
you have
Yahoo, you have ICFlix, you have Wala MTV. All of those platforms are today available. Some of them are local, and we've done a lot to provide content producers a platform where they can actually monetize their content. So the challenges before were, yes, strictly a content producer with YouTube. Nowadays, no. You have other options, and content creators need to explore those options, look at the alternatives, because we've seen a lot of people shifting from YouTube to other platforms because that type of content works perfectly on that specific platform.
Okay.
Yeah. We see the same thing. I think there's no perfect silver bullet for everything. There's going to be bits of everything that's required, whether the business model is advertising-based or just pure content and you sell it on a monthly subscription. One challenge we found was that when studios come to us trying to ask for some funds, but their content's available free on YouTube, that just doesn't work. So it's really, you've got to pick your space, understand your market, understand the user behaviors. I think there's room for all types of business models. They will all flourish by leveraging technology, as was mentioned, and driving and solving the issues, as was mentioned as well. And there's really room for all of it. There's certain content I would never pay for. I'd love to see it on YouTube or channels like that, or Yahoo, or wherever. And there's other content I would pay for, and I'd be very happy to come home and watch something without commercials, for example. So there's room for all types of business models.
Okay, and with 5% of the budgets being spent on digital, I guess it can only get better.
Man, it can really get better. I come from a country that is in North Africa. I'm Tunisian, where YouTube is not even monetized, where you can't even change currency to your currency to a foreign currency. And I worked for 5 years in Jordan, where YouTube started being monetized a couple of months ago. And we've sold huge deals when it comes to product placement and sponsorships in those two countries. And we managed to convince advertisers, and they spent with us. And we created that need. And now they're happy and they want more.
Excellent. Okay, I think we kind of drained this topic to the max. We figured out that you can practically monetize it in any way, shape, or form. You can have your own website. You can put your content on YouTube and do branded content and pre-rolls. You can, of course, be a Yahoo. That's not really easy to be. NBC is looking at multiple ways of doing it. So if you also have content, you can talk to any one of the panelists here, and I think they'll be more than happy to have a discussion with you, see what content you have, what branded content you have, what any kind of content you have, and move forward with it. I'd like to thank my panelists, Rudolph from OLN, Abe from NBC, Amira Yahoo, Noman from ICFlix, and Bashir from Kharbish. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.